So we're constantly seeing tips, tricks and hacks for Instagram marketing everywhere we look online. But what are some of the things that you should not be doing on Instagram in order to promote your business? In today's video, I'm going to be sharing some of my top mistakes that I see people doing and that you should avoid at all costs, and also why they're bad, to help you make sure that your Instagram etiquette is on point. So hi, if you're new here, my name is Anna. I am a designer and online educator at byrozanna.co.uk, and I share videos all about business, marketing, productivity, freelancing, design, loads of different stuff on here, all to do with business. So if you like that kind of content, please do click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up while you're there. So let's start out with some of the more obvious mistakes that you can see on Instagram, and definitely how not to market your business on there. And the first one is paying for followers. There are still companies out there that will offer to get you 10,000 or 100,000 followers within a certain amount of time, and you really need to be avoiding them at all costs. I don't know exactly how they go about it, but they'll be going about it with some dodgy tactics, potentially using fake accounts, bots, or even if they are real accounts that end up following you, they're all going to be the wrong people anyway, and you're at high risk of Instagram finding out what you've done and closing down your account. So you definitely don't want to be wasting any time or money doing that quick fix, paying for followers solution if you want to grow your account. Another one that was really popular a few years ago was Unfollow Software. Now the premise behind this was that the software would automatically go and follow a load of accounts for you and then quickly unfollow them again after a certain amount of time. And the idea behind this is just because if you end up following someone, they get a notification about it, or they see it in their feed that you followed them, and then they might potentially, from seeing that, go and click onto your profile and follow you back. But then if you then unfollow them a couple of days later, they don't get notified about that, and then you don't end up with a huge follower to following ratio. So you end up not following that many people, but having a lot of followers because they followed you back when you followed them. It was a whole thing. I don't think it's that much of a popular technique anymore, but if you do see any advertisements for it or any software like that, definitely avoid it. Instagram cracked down a lot on these softwares and actually ended up banning people and removing people and suspending accounts on the platform that were using this kind of software. One of the things that Instagram brought in to help with this kind of thing going on was to set limits on how many people you could unfollow or follow within a set period of time. And we're not exactly sure what those limits are, but basically if Instagram thinks that you're doing any spammy activity on the platform, say if you followed 100 accounts in 5 minutes, or if you have unfollowed a load of people within a very short space of time, you are likely to get your account suspended or paused. So just be careful if you are just doing that activity naturally or manually yourself because you are new to Instagram and you want to follow loads of people, or you want to cleanse your account and all the people that you're following. I would advise doing that over a couple of days rather than doing it all in one go, because Instagram might think that what you're doing is spammy. So that's just a quick tip there. Another thing that was really popular and that I don't see too much of anymore, but it's definitely still out there, is using a bot or a software to like people's posts or leave comments. And you can often tell what a bot comment is because it will usually be just like an emoji or 2 emojis or a really short sentence that doesn't really make much sense and isn't relevant to the post. So you might post something with a really long, deep caption talking about a specific topic, and then the bot comment will just be something like, "Great post," or "I love this content." Go ahead and give this video a like if you know what I mean, or if you've had any of these on your posts before. They're so annoying. It just makes you look spammy to people, so definitely avoid doing that. A comment that's even really simple or just a couple of emojis can still make people think, I'm not sure they really read the caption, or give people a bit of a bad feeling. And as well as that, if Instagram does find out and you do get caught doing it, you are likely to have your account suspended as well. Another thing that I think is pretty obvious not to do is if you are in the comments section of someone else's post and people are talking about something, Don't go in and pitch yourself and start being salesy to people, especially if that post is one of your competitors. And generally selling to people in the comments isn't really a good way to go about it, because they're not primed, they're not ready, they don't know who you are. It's just seen as a bit too salesy. And as well as that, please don't leave a comment saying, please DM me for more info, or leave a comment on someone's post saying, are you interested in this? DM me for more info. No one's going to do that. It comes across really spammy and salesy, so just don't do that. So I feel like I had to get all of those out of the way because they are the more obvious ones, but let's talk about a few less obvious ones that you might have heard conflicting things about. One of them is the topic about engagement pods. So what these are is basically when a group of people get together and they form a pod or a group where when someone posts, everyone in that group has to go and like and comment and engage on that post. And so as you can imagine, if you've got a big group with lots and lots of people in, that can take a lot of work for each individual to go and like and comment on each person's post. And the idea is just to help people get engagement on their content and get their posts liked by the algorithm, so that it then starts sending it out to other people and help with their engagement. And there's a lot of conflicting advice on these. It's quite a controversial topic, but I would just say steer away from those because they're just not an organic form of engagement. Instagram is always going to prioritize content that has had organic engagement, and it's not stupid. The algorithm is very, very smart. It can pick up if lots of the same people are constantly engaging on each other's posts. It can pick up about engagement pods, and it just won't give you the same level of organic reach as if you're just getting engagement naturally. Focus on creating great content that your target audience will actually want to engage with, and then you don't need to form things like engagement pods. But that is a controversial one, and potentially in some situations they could be useful, but I'm not going to go down that road talking about that today. So this is one that's happened to me a lot, and it is quite frustrating as someone on the receiving end, which is why I wanted to bring it up. And that is when someone or an account will post a post on their grid or on their stories, and it will tag a load of accounts because you can tag people in pictures to say that they're in the picture. But what happens is people abuse that and will just tag a load of accounts so that those accounts get notified that that person has uploaded a post, and in the hopes that all those accounts that they tag will then share their posts or comment on it or like it or engage with it. So you might have heard the Instagram marketing tip that if you post a post on your grid and it is relevant, obviously tag whoever is in it or any brands that are in it, but also you could tag sharer accounts. That is accounts that deliberately, the only thing that they post is other people's content who have tagged them or have used a hashtag. So for example, with my Cornish blog Instagram account, I share a lot of travel photos and pictures of Cornwall, which is where I live. And there's a lot of accounts on Instagram that just share other people's content, and that's all they do. And so they'll usually have in their bio, if you want to be featured on this page, tag us in your photo. And so when I post a photo, I could tag that account in my photo in the hopes that they'd share it. And that is absolutely fine because that is the purpose of those accounts. However, if you're just tagging people with lots of followers that you hope to reshare things and that's not really what their account does or what their account is about, then this can be really, really spammy. There's a couple of brands that do this to me on a regular basis on my lifestyle account, and unfortunately it's made me just block them, which I wouldn't have done previously. I would have followed them quite happily and seen their content and liked it if I wanted to like it and engaged with it if I wanted to engage with it. But because they're constantly tagging me in things that aren't relevant, I'm not in the post and I don't own an account that reshares things, it just makes me think that they're really spammy, and I don't want those constant notifications from them, so I've blocked them. So don't tag people in posts just to get attention. Only tag people who are in the post or relevant accounts who will actively reshare what you've posted. Do a little bit of research first to make sure that they will actually do that and they're happy for you to tag them. On the topic of resharing content, that is absolutely okay for some accounts to set themselves up as sharer accounts where people tag them and then they reshare and repost their content. It's called kind of curating other people's content rather than creating your own content. And it's absolutely fine if you have an account where it is relevant for you to repost and reshare other people's content to your account. However, what you must do is A, properly credit the original person who posted that image or that graphic. So make sure that you tag that username in the very top bit of that caption. Don't just bury it down below in one of the comments as a tag. Actually give them full credit within that first kind of sentence or two in the caption, or else it really just looks like you're trying to pass this image off as your own and trying to sneakily hide the fact that it was someone else. It just looks bad. But also you must ask permission first. And this is something that so many accounts don't do. With resharing accounts, the ones that I mentioned, like the Cornwall ones, typically if you have tagged them in your post, that's kind of you giving them permission, or if you've used a certain hashtag maybe even, but they kind of do get away with it because of that, because of the hashtags, or telling people that if you tag them then they will be resharing your photos. But if you want to reshare someone else's photo to your account, unless they have expressly given you permission by tagging you or telling you that, you need to go and ask their permission first. There are so many different reasons for this, not least copyright law in general, but it's just good practice. That person might not want your account to be competing with them to get that post views. They might not want their username shared with lots of followers. It is best practice and just good etiquette to go and message them or comment on the photo asking if they would be happy if you reshared it. Loads of people don't do this and it's really frustrating, and yes, most people, probably 90% of people, won't mind if you reshare their content to your following and see it as a nice way to get more followers, but there's 10% of people who will be uncomfortable with you sharing their content and might have issues with it in terms of copyright, or the fact that they're trying to get that post reach and engagement themselves first without you coming in and trying to compete with them. So please just message people and ask for permission before you use their images. And now my final point, which is more about the kind of sales side of things and how to use Instagram to actually market and promote your business. What I see a lot of people doing is sending DMs or direct messages to their ideal customers, actually pitching to them and selling to them and saying, hey, I really like your content. Kind of they'll make something up that they've read one of your posts or read one of your captions and be like, this really resonated with me. I have this program, or I have this product, or I offer this service, and I really think that you'd be interested in this. Now, this all sounds very innocent and it sounds very nice and polite and everything, but what it can feel like from on the receiving end is that someone has come into your direct messages, which is more of a personal space, and they're just talking at you and they haven't really taken any time to learn what your problems are and actually develop a relationship with you. You're essentially interrupting and invading their space and coming at them with something that they might not be ready to think about yet. So what I would encourage you to do, rather than coming into a cold lead or someone who is cold in terms of sales, they haven't warmed up to you, they don't know who you are, rather than coming into them with a hard sell, actually spend time engaging with their content and messaging them about other things about their content, developing an actual relationship with them first before you go in to start selling to them. If you think that someone is your ideal customer and you want to start a conversation with them, go and engage on their content and deliver them value, or actually try and develop a relationship with them first. So I'll get off my soapbox now. I hope these tips were helpful. If you want to learn more about Instagram marketing, I have a free Instagram marketing for business course. It's completely online and self-paced. You can go through the modules at your own pace whenever you like, and it's completely free to sign up for. I'll leave the link in the description, but I highly recommend you check it out. We go through things like content, hashtags, engagement, how to read your analytics. There's loads of stuff in there, and yeah, it's totally free. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back again soon with another video.